Sorry, not sorry, Jet fans. It's now another end of an era. You guys lose another quarterback. The Zach Wilson era of New York is now over. You guys do what you may with his name, and you guys tell me what you think of his legacy as a New York Jets quarterback. But the moment I knew what was up, the moment you guys didn't get Trevor Lawrence, the moment, there was a game I was reacting to last year. I had pinpointed the moment the Jets threw their whole future to shit. When they beat the Rams the year before they drafted Zach Wilson, 2020, they beat the Rams in as a heavy underdog, a game that they didn't need to win. Everybody knew they was tanking for Trevor Lawrence until they won that game, and they eventually gave the Jaguars the #1 overall pick, and they settled for #2. And that #2 pick was Zach Wilson. And since then, Zach Wilson has been a Pop Warner JV redshirt quarterback, leading the New York Jets to arguably nothing, bro. Like, this kid looked like a deer in headlights from the moment he got drafted. Okay? Mind you, Zach Wilson went #2 before the likes of Jamar Chase, Micah Parsons, Pat Surtain, Devontae Smith. There was a plethora of talent that the Jets could have took, but they eventually settled for this guy who they ended up replacing for Aaron Rodgers. And, you know, Jets got Rodgered when he tore his Achilles. But now Rodgers seems to be the future at coming in at, what, 39 to 40? He's the future. Like, they just have nothing after Aaron Rodgers. And now we're going to just tune in because the Jets, y'all do it to yourselves, bro. Y'all do it to yourselves. The kid sucked. I'm not going to lie. Can he play? Maybe. But he's just going to play in New York, and New York was going to be too patient with him. This kid was only drafted 2021, and now he's already a Denver Bronco. Denver, one of the franchises that's just, I mean, they're just all-time tanking at this point, right? Just all-time tanking for a quarterback. But let's get right into it. The Jets finally make the best decision the franchise has made in some years.
News from the NFL, where Zach Wilson has been traded to the Denver Broncos. That is the latest from our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. The Jets will receive a late-round pick swap in the deal that will also retain a chunk of Wilson's $5.5 million salary. For Wilson, it closes the book on a rough 3 seasons in New York after being taken 2nd overall in the 2021 draft. He heads to a Denver team with a lot of questions at the quarterback position. Wilson joins Jarrett Stidham and Ben DiNucci in the Broncos quarterback room heading into this week's. Jarrett Stidham and Ben DiNucci in the
Denver Broncos are heading into this season with Jarrett Stidham, Ben DiNucci, and Zach Wilson.
Bruh.
That's like 369 overalls, and I'm being nice.
The Broncos quarterback room heading into this week's NFL draft. Get reaction to this from our guy Lige Duzable. Yeah, first I'll ask you, like, the news just came down. We were kind of talking about Wilson earlier in the day on HQ, but how do you like this move for him, your reaction to it?
I love it for Zach Wilson because at certain points in your career, sometimes a fresh start is needed, Jeremy. You talked about some of the trials and tribulations he went through his first 3 years as a New York Jet. One thing I can say about Zach Wilson, he is battle-tested mentally because in New York, Jeremy, we were talking about this off camera, it's one of those cities where everything you do is under a microscope. Even if you have a subpar game or a pretty good game, in New York, it's going to feel like a bad game. So Zach Wilson went through some ups and downs, so he's going to be battle-tested. And we knew this trade was coming down the pike. We know that owner Woody Johnson came out and said, you know, Zach Wilson's a asset. We're not just going to give him away. Well, Joe Douglas, the GM, was working behind.
How they gave Aaron Rodgers? They gave Aaron Rodgers that win against Buffalo when he tore his Achilles 3 plays into the game because he started. Now, that's just dumb. You could, like, come on, bro. The man played 4 plays. He played 4 plays, and y'all gave him a win for that?
Behind the scenes, and he was able to get this trade done for a late pick swap with a 6th and 7th round pick. Looks like the Jets will have to pay out Zach Wilson's $5.5 million. But this is a great move, not only for the Jets, but for Zach Wilson because he needs to start fresh.
What about this move for the Broncos, though? I mean, does it tell you anything about maybe their draft strategy? Because one of Ryan Wilson's latest mock draft had them taking a quarterback at the 12 spot. Which
may be a little high in the draft, depending on which quarterbacks are going to be at that point in the draft, Jeremy. But to me, I don't think this changes their draft strategy. When you look at Zach Wilson, hopefully Sean Payton is thinking this guy had a lot of talent. He was a #2 pick overall. We know he has the big arm. The thing is, can we get him to process quicker, play from within the pocket? Because, Jeremy, Zach Wilson likes to play off platform. He likes likes to get out of the pocket. That was the same struggle that Russell Wilson had in that Sean Payton offense. So can Sean Payton get that talent out of Zach Wilson? I don't think this stops them or absolves them from taking a quarterback. I think 12 is a little high. I could see them trying to trade back and maybe get back in the second round because currently, Jeremy, they don't have a second-round pick.
Yeah, but what does this Denver team look like going into next season right now when you've got Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham, and Ben DiNucci as your three quarterbacks? I mean, that's not striking a lot of fear into people.
I think that's why they'll still be in the quarterback market. Now, I believe 12 is a little bit too high when you're talking about guys like Michael Penix potentially being there, Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix fits the system perfectly in Denver. We saw Drew Brees have a lot of success throwing the underneath ball, being very accurate. That's exactly what Bo Nix did at the University of Oregon. But taking him at 12 is just a little bit too high. I can see the Denver Broncos, again, trying to trade back, get some draft capital, and then in that second round, attack a quarterback. You stated it, the quarterbacks they have right now, Ben DiNucci, Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson. Again, that doesn't absolve them from taking a quarterback of the future. But I think Sean Payton is thinking, why not take a flyer on Zach Wilson? We're not paying his salary this year. Kid has a lot of talent, was a number 2 overall pick. Hopefully I can get that talent out of him.
When you look at this quarterback room as it stands right now, based on, obviously the draft is to come, so they could add to it. But this quarterback room right now, who's QB1 in this competition?
To me, it's Jarrett Stidham. He finished the season starting last year. We saw a few years ago him start the last couple games for the Las Vegas Raiders. Zach Wilson has more experience than him, but I think that,
which isn't saying much,
Jarrett Stidham has the leg up, having been in this offense for over a year now. Zach Wilson, I think this is a great opportunity for him to go in to this quarterback room and compete and potentially start. Even if the Denver Broncos do draft somebody in the second round, if Zach Wilson goes out there and performs really well, you talked about it, this is a room that doesn't have a lot of experience, and then you're potentially bringing a rookie quarterback in. This could bode well for Zach Wilson. And also, geographically, he'll be closer to home, Jeremy. You would think he'd be a little bit more comfortable. He's from Utah. He'll be in Denver. Family could be around a lot more. Maybe he's more comfortable in Denver. And we see that talent that made him the number 2 pick.
And Sean Payton, known as a guy who is a bit of a quarterback whisperer.
We gonna see.
So we are going to see, based on this quarterback room as it stands right now. Lige Dusable joining us to discuss.
They keep highlighting the fact that he was such a great talent, 2nd overall pick. Bro, have you seen him in the league? Nobody cares what you did in college once you already played in the league. There's a reason the Jets are moving on from Zach Wilson. Don't they think? Don't we all know his talent? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to call him a bust, but his experience in New York definitely was. And if he can't beat Jarrett Stidham for a quarterback competition that's clearly wide open because the Denver Broncos are tanking, if he can't beat him, then that pretty much lets you already know what you need to know, bro. But look at the odds, bro. The Denver Broncos are plus 2,000. That's not even an ice cube chance in hell of winning that division. Just not even competitive.
Zach Wilson being traded to the Denver Broncos from the New York Jets. A little bit of a late-round pick swap as well. As you look at the odds to win the AFC West and the win totals, you and I were coming down here. We were saying, what's the Broncos total? I said 6.
I said 5, but it was in between 5.5.
Split it right in the middle. At the bottom of the division, 5.5. And they've added to the quarterback room Zach Wilson, now a member of the Denver Broncos.
Just like that. Aaron Rodgers didn't even play. Aaron Rodgers is still recovering off a torn Achilles. Well, I mean, he's back now, but still, you just never know. Aaron Rodgers is 40. You got a quarterback that's 24, 25. You can easily keep him on the bench to back up Aaron Rodgers, but they said enough is enough. We've seen enough of this kid, bro. In less than just 3 years, the Jets have now moved on from Zach Wilson, bro. I'm not even surprised. I'm really not. It's the fact that he's going to be making $5 million. He's going to be making $5 million, bro. Man, it pays to be a quarterback. I'm going to holler at you guys next video, bro. $5 million to suck is crazy.